Mm, let's go to Twitch. Alright, the mic is working, yeah? Okay, yes it is. Alright, so now I've got to plug in the webcam, and we're good to go. Alright. Okay. Now we turn on the cam in the stream. Camera options. Camera on. There we go. Now we double check the stream, make sure the camera's actually capturing my face. Okay. Yes, it is. Alright. So, if anybody who watches this cannot tell, obviously I'm just chatting for a little bit. If anybody's wondering, yes, the screen is on Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. I was playing this earlier while I was streaming, and the internet went out in the middle of it. So, that's probably why that VOD probably got cut short. So I'm just gonna be completely honest here. So, I'm not getting any viewers really besides homies and stuff. That's all cool, I'm fine with that. I don't need publicity, nor do I want it. But this is just chatting, by the way, homies, if you're tuning in. But yeah, so I'm gonna be honest. I am gonna keep streaming occasionally, but I'm definitely not gonna be streaming that often. As you can probably tell, anybody who's on my channel or has seen my Twitch, I already don't stream that often, but that's because the projects that I have, I've been pouring countless hours into them. So, yeah. The first few days of the spawning of these ideas, I guess you could say, was literal all-nighters. I would stay up for, I want to say like 28 hours. 28 hours for the first 2 days. Something like that. I don't really know. Because all of these ideas were coming out, and I wanted to make sure that they got saved. I wanted to make sure that my projects and stuff were safe, and they were secure, and that they would be recognized as my projects. And I've been making a shit ton of posts for the past 2 weeks, something like that, and I haven't been getting any engagement whatsoever. But it's only the first 2 weeks. This is a 5-year project at the very least, 10 years at maximum. Well, hopefully 10 years is a maximum, otherwise it will be like 15 to 20 years at the maximum. Give me just a second, I'm gonna make sure nobody commented. I'm assuming this is you, Radman. If so, welcome, my man. If you can't tell, like I said, I'm just chatting for a bit. So, I'm assuming yeah, there he is. You plug it in. Streaming starts slow, especially if you're not playing the most popular games. Yeah, I know. That's part of the issue, because I'm trying to play Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, and it's purely a passion thing. Like, I love this game a shit ton. But, I mean, if you don't know already, homie, like, no content creators that I know of at least have done playthroughs of this game, even though it's so damn good, in my opinion at least. So, I get that nobody's going to be wanting to watch gameplay on this game, and that's fine. But the thing is I'm probably just going to stop streaming for a good bit until I start getting actual engagement within a community that hopefully I'll be building. Give me just 1 second. Because the main idea was hopefully I would get a little bit of recognition from all the projects and posts I've been making, because like I said, I've been making quite a bit. I've been doing a post just about every single day for the past 2 weeks or something like that, and that's literal pissing time for algorithms and everything else. So, nobody's really going to know. And they're not going to know for at least the next, I want to say 2 or 3 months, if I had to give or take. I don't know for sure. Obviously, I'm no genius or anything else like this, and nobody else is going to see this video except, the homies and stuff like that for quite a while. But, yeah, I'm really just getting all of it off my chest, I guess, because, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of losing my sanity here. But yeah, I have invested quite a bit into these projects, and 90% of that investment is purely spiritual, mental, and emotional. I do try and funnel money into all of this stuff. Like, I bought this little light, I bought this camera. Besides all that, my family has been more than generous enough to also aid me in these endeavors. They also got me this little microphone. Hold on, let me unplug it. This little microphone right here that I plan to use in future streams. I just need to get a capture card to actually use it while I'm streaming. But yeah, so I don't know. I think the realism is finally starting to settle in. It's finally starting to match my confidence of the project. I don't know. I guess a part of me thought that the moment I started posting, people would actually start seeing it, and I'd at least get like 5 people. You know what I mean? Just 5 people. That's not asking for all that much, I thought. But, I'm getting... The thing that doesn't make any sense to me is the amount of views that I'm getting. Because I'm getting like tens to hundreds, and I've even gotten like almost 2,000 views on one post. But there's still not a single comment. Not a single one. And that's what's really throwing me for a loop here, because I get the fact that people are seeing these videos. They're seeing them, so I just don't get why they're not commenting. But it is what it is. A lot of people are lurkers, I guess. I've always been a lurker myself, except for here recently. I've been commenting and stuff like that on a lot of videos that I actually enjoy a lot more recently. But yeah, it's just so odd that I've got so many views and not a single form of engagement. Not a single person. It is what it is, though. That's exactly how I should have realistically expected this to go. It's the way that I do expect it to go now. But yeah, and I don't want anybody who ever watches this to think that I'm giving up. I'm not. That's literally what I've done 90% of my life, especially throughout high school. The moment that anything ever got difficult or annoying or pissed me off, I would give up over and over and over again. And I'll never default to that again. I just won't. I don't care what it takes. I won't ever default to that again. So, if anybody ever does watch this in the future, know that I'm certainly struggling currently. I hope that I'm no longer struggling whenever, hopefully I get a little bit of publicity and people see this type of stuff. But yeah, I am struggling, definitely. But no matter how much I struggle, I'm going to do everything in my power to not give up. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to have an infinite amount of time anymore for these projects. I was trying to give myself 1 to 3 months for the projects to gain a little traction, but I'm not going to do that anymore. Instead, I'm just going to funnel everything I have into everything else that's important. So I'm going to do that, and I'm still going to try and stay on the consistency that I have been on for the past 2 weeks, which is posting at least one thing every single day, even if it's just a little bit of concept art or a little bit of a narrative drop or, whatever it may be. I've been doing YouTube short videos and stuff like that. I've been posting little clips of um, concept art with like little bits of animation and video effects and stuff here and there. I've been doing it on TikTok as well. Like I said, that's the only thing that's throwing me for a loop, the amount of views that I've been getting and just no comments or engagement, but that's apparently how the algorithm works. Like I said, 2 weeks is pissing time for algorithms, so I'm guessing like once I start getting up to the 3 to 6 month margin, hopefully the algorithm will start giving me a little bit of room to breathe. I might be posting on like local websites and stuff like that too, just to see if that will help me in any sense. I highly doubt that it will, but I mean, I feel like I'm out of options right now either way, so. But yeah, I'm gonna try and stick with the consistency that I have been giving here recently. Um, Hopefully it all works out well. No, if it doesn't, then boo-hoo. I'll just lose my sanity all over again. It's not like I haven't done it before. But yeah. So if anybody ever does watch this, I hope that you're having a great day. I also hope that you're comfortable and safe at home. If anybody does ever want to see me do a full playthrough of Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, let me know, because I do love this game. I truly love this game, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably will continue playing the game on my own off stream, purely because I love it that much. And yeah, so I probably will already know the entirety of the game by the next time somebody wants me to continue this playthrough, so I apologize for that. But I mean, as much as I don't want to be a dick, you guys kind of have to blame yourself. You know, you've been sleeping on me. You've been sleeping on me for the past 2 weeks, but I mean, that's how it works. You know, I ain't mad at it. I'm just finally starting to accept how realistic my chances are. So, yeah, I hope that people do eventually get a little bit intrigued with my projects and my ideas. However, I'm definitely not expecting them to at this point, and I bear no ill will or hatred or anything like that towards anybody. Um, it's just frustrating, and what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's draining my sanity. It's draining my sanity and confidence and everything else. Every single time I go to start a stream and I don't see anybody watching. And the main reason being is purely because what I want to do is talk about my project. You know, I don't get to do that. You know, nobody that I care about cares about the project, except like maybe a couple of friends. You know, like I got one really close friend that's like 2 states away. I can't just walk over there and talk to him and tell him about the project, which is actually Radman, by the way, really close friend. And the other friend I have is mostly strictly music, so he doesn't really care about this stuff either. So, yeah, there's not really anybody I can talk to about this type of stuff. So, I'm just putting it all out there, plain and simple. So, if anybody ever does find this video on YouTube, you know, cool. I hope that I finally got to a point where I'm no longer really struggling like this, at least. Obviously, I still will be struggling. I mean, especially if and when I ever do get any real publicity or recognition, because I probably won't be able to handle it all, especially not on my own. But thankfully, I've got a lot of people I can lean on who will help keep me on the straight and narrow. So, but yeah, it's just it's tough. But like I said, I'm not giving up. Not planning on giving up. Not ever again. So, it's gonna take a long time. I just hope that I start to gain a little bit of traction by the end of year 1. And if I don't, then I hope I do by the end of year 2, and so on and so forth. Because, like I said, I don't plan to give up. And maybe by the end of year 1, I'll have a decent vault of knowledge going on. And, well, made at that point. So hopefully, you know, I can get some input and some feedback and everything else. Because that's really the only thing I need right now is feedback. And I guess I can say it because nobody's watching this stream right now and probably won't for a while. But I also plan on having the community themselves decide on the narrative of the game. Like, I've already developed a decent amount of the narrative itself. I've got like, I want to say 5 or 6 characters currently in mind, or developed at least the basics, you know? Like, there's the basics of their story arc, the main key points in the story, stuff like that. But yeah, I planned on doing polls and everything for the community that I will hopefully make for the project, and all projects. I was planning on having polls for all of them to decide on what they wanted to see in the game itself, and any and all contributions would also be displayed in the game, in the final product of the game. And mind you, I don't mean strictly monetary contributions or anything like that. I mean, you know, you just giving me an idea for a side quest, or you being like, hey, here's this thing, it would look really cool in your game, you know, stuff like that. Even those contributions, you know, you'll get rewarded for them. Now, mind you, I don't have any experience in actual animation or coding or anything like that when it comes to the game. The original plan, which is still the current plan, is to fully flesh out the narrative that I've currently developed so far, and then obviously get a community going and have them put their own input and feedback and contributions into the game and the narrative itself. And then I would take the entire idea to a gaming company and ask them to make the game. And if they either turn me down straight away, or if they, you know, picked up the game and then made it in their own version, in their own way, then I would say, okay, you're not getting the gaming idea anymore, because, you know, obviously this is not just my project, but it would also be my community's project. And if they altered what we would have created, I won't stand for that, period. So I would just go back to my community and I would ask them how to develop my own gaming company. And then I would, you know, the first game that would be released by said gaming company would of course be Project Pharaoh. The name itself, obviously, that's just what I have for it right now, Project Pharaoh. I might even have the community decide on the name itself. I want to make sure I don't tire out the option of having the community decide what is going to be what. So if anybody does see this video and they think that having the community decide, you know, what all is going to be in the story and all this, that, and the other is going to be too much for people to enjoy, you know, let me know. Yeah, I definitely need to dance around the idea of how much is too much and how much is just enough, you know. I have a good amount of vaulted concepts for the project itself that I will not speak about right now. I do plan to make future posts, and I don't know, I might reveal a couple of those vaulted ideas, just a couple, to try and get more people in on the project. So yeah, if anybody is curious as to where the project currently lives or anything like that, it's on Reddit right now under Project Pharaoh. It's spelled Project and then Pharoah. Yes, I know Pharaoh is misspelled. I did that for a reason. And it's because I had another Reddit account from way long ago, and I accidentally created the Pharaoh project on that Reddit, and I didn't want it on that Reddit, so I got rid of it. Well, tried to get rid of it, but you can't just get rid of a community page that you make, apparently. Reddit does a lot of stuff that's That's annoying, to say the least, but so does every social media platform. So you can possibly hate one for doing something while you got it going over there, and hate this one for something else. So it's just the way that it is. Um, so yeah. Yeah, the realism is just finally really setting in, I guess. So yeah. I guess I said pretty much everything I wanted to say. So yeah. I'll just say one last time that I hope everybody is safe and comfortable, and that you're having a great and wonderful day, evening, or night, wherever you are in the world. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Yeah. So everybody stay safe and farewell for now. I will have to wait until I hear nothing but silence on the stream, because otherwise the VOD will cut off at a really abrupt point because of the stream delay. So, yeah. See you.